Head over to miniaturemarket.com where they have thousands of board games at discounted prices like The Great Split. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're going back into the era of sort of like the Great Gatsby era, and we're trying to have the most prestige by doing all the different things, having gems and emeralds and tomes. And today we're taking a look at The Great Split. This is from Horrible Guild. This is a I Split You Choose and sort of a Eurotrack game. Let me show you how it works. I'll see you on the other side. At the beginning of the game, you will randomly get one of these luxury hoarders, these different characters, and you're trying to get the most prestige in the game. Now, each of these have some asymmetrical things you'll start with, and some asymmetric ways that you're going to score at the end of the game as well. So they're all sort of different. They give you sort of head starts in different tracks that are out there. So let me show you what else this game comes with. Everyone's going to get one of these different wallets. They're really cool looking. They have all different colors and sort of different designs there, and the graphic design in this game is just really cool. The way that they did this, the way that these look, they all have sort of different looks and feels. So I just want to show you the graphic design here. Now the game is 6 rounds long, and during the game, there's going to be 2 intermittent scoring times. And these are sort of randomized, so what scores during these times will change each game. And you'll also do some scoring at the end of the game. So let's talk about what you're trying to do. Everyone has their own beautiful dual layered board, and these hold the cubes really well like this. Now, you may have noticed on that other board, the icons that we saw that we're going to score are these different things. And so we have things like tomes and art and gems and emeralds and money and things like that. And these are essentially different resources or tracks you're going to be moving up. Down at the bottom are seals, and these correspond with those tracks. Like this purple track here corresponds with the purple tomes, the art, this goes with this, and this. And what you're trying to do is obviously move up certain tracks, but you can't do everything. So like I said, these are going to score intermittently throughout the game. For example, when we get from this round to this round, we're going to score the tomes. When we get from this round to this round, we're going to score the gems and art. So let's talk about how those score. So let's say we were scoring the tomes. You'd look at where you are on this track, and the last prestige marker that you passed, in this case 6, we'd get 6 points. The gems, you look at the lesser of the 2, in this case it's these blue ones, and we're at a level of 3 there on the board, and so we would just simply double that. You double your smallest one, so that would give us 6 points, for example. The art, we are at level 4. Now over the course of the game, this art marker is going to be moving. We'll tell you how that happens later, but you look at this. We were at art level 4 right now. That would get us 10 points. If it was like this, 4 would get us 6 points. If it was like this, 4 would get us 0 points. If we were further than everything, then 4 would actually get us 15 points. So this will change how many points art is depending on how high you've moved up. This is going to be moving up throughout the game. We'll talk about that, but that's how you score art. Now let's talk about endgame scoring, because at the end of the game, you're going to score each of these again the same way I just showed you now, which is the intermittent scoring. Same way at the end, you're going to score all these, but then you're going to score these seals. This is really important because each of these seals, again, correspond with the different tracks here, like this one, this art one goes with art. And what happens is you'll see these little markers here, and they have certain stars. This is a multiplier. If I'm here, there's 4 little stars there. We're going to multiply those 4 stars times however many of these art icons we passed. And you can easily see by counting the sort of brownish triangles at the top, even though they're covered like this. Like this one, there's one below me, but I can do it like this. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times 4, 20 points. So each of these have a multiplier with the other tracks. And so that's how you score huge points at the end of the game. So you're going to be focused on 1 or 2 tracks usually the most, because it really is advantageous to go down further on a track and get it high on the multipliers. So now you know what you're trying to do for intermittent scoring and endgame scoring. Let's talk about how you actually score these points and how you set yourself up on the tracks. So let's say this was the character I was dealt at the beginning of the game. I actually would start on 3 on that track, because that's what it says here. Now at the end of the game, I'm going to essentially get 2 extra multipliers for this track here. So even if I get all the way up to here, that's 4 stars, I'll actually have 5, 6. Basically, I get 2 for the multiplier of the tomes. And I get 1, virtually, at the end for these gems too. So I already know at the beginning of the game I'm going to probably be focusing on this and this, just for my starting spot, if you will. Now you have a different amount of cards in your hand depending on the round, but this might look like what you have for the first round, okay? So I have this, which is 2 tomes, 1 tome. This is art, this is money and points, and these are going up those multiplier seals at the end. So simply, I'm going to take which ones of these and I'm going to split them. So for example, here's my wallet and here's the splitter. Let's say strategically, I'd love to have these 3 tomes because again, I'm going to have the tome multipliers at the end, right? So here's the thing. Do I try to keep these 3 cards and have the other player take these 2 cards, or is this not enough? Are they just going to take these 3 cards because it's more? So maybe I give them these 3 cards, even though I'm giving a seal. Let's do that. I just try to keep it even because I really want to move far up on this track. I'm going to try to bait them I'm going to put these here, and I put my splitter card in the middle, and I put the rest of these here. So I'm going to take these and put them in my little book here. I'm going to close this book. It seals actually, like that. And I'm going to pass it to the player to my left. So that player's going to open it. They're going to look at these. They don't rearrange them. They go, I could take these 3, or I could take these 2. They're going to look at my board and go, what does that player want? And they're going to look at their board and go, what do I want? And they're going to do something. And maybe they take the bait. So what they do is they keep these 3. They're going to take these and send it back to me. So they're going to put this back in, and they're going to give it back to me. Okay? So they have taken those cards. Now, at the same time that the other player is doing that, I had been given a book from the player to my right, and I'm making the same decision. I keep the cards, and I send the book back. So you've split in 2 different ways. So let's say this is what it looked like. These are the cards that were given back to me from my player to my left that I was hoping they would give back to me. These are the 3 cards that I ended up keeping from the book to the player to my right. So here's what I have for the round. And I simply go up the tracks. This one, I go up 1 tome. This one, I go up 2 tomes. This one, I go up another one. This one, I go up here. This one, I get a point, which essentially is stars prestige, and I go up on money. Money is cool because anytime I hit one of these arrows, I can go up any other single track 2 times, which is cool. I go here, I go. Some of these, they're markers for other things, but the money allows you to move up on other tracks. Also, sometimes you'll be moving down these seals and they allow you to move up on other tracks. For example, if I had some seals and I was able to move up here, this would allow me to move up on the purple tome track or the art track. So these ones are sort of tied to the ones that they're going to be scoring with. Now, this is the splitter card. This allows you to go up on any single track. So depending on what's going on, what's scoring next or whatever, maybe I'll start to go up this track. So that's it. Now, the cool thing is all these cards that I ended up with is what I start next round with almost. So let me see. Right now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So at this point, at the end of the round, we flip this over and we see how far the art goes. It's going to go between 0 and 4. This goes 1. And again, this is going to influence the art scoring that I showed you earlier. Then we go here. So what's going to happen is everyone's going to draw a card from this level. We have level 2, level 3. The first 3 rounds is level 2. The last 3 rounds is from level 3. These basically always have like sort of 2 things on them. And these are typically really strong. A lot of times have 3 for level 3. So what happens is every player will draw 1 card from the new level, but you have to discard down to 5 cards. And this is an interesting decision because now I have these cards. I've got to discard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Discard 1 and figure out what to do. So maybe I discard this or maybe I discard this. Again, this is going to change what I have for options to split. And you're looking at what the player to your left has, what you have on their boards. And this is a very interesting thing because most of the cards that you kept last time, let's say I get rid of one of these, most of the cards you kept last time are going to be here again, but not all of them. You got some new information here, and this might change the way that you split again to the player to your left and getting things back. So that's pretty much how the splits work. So after the 3 rounds, it might look something like this. And again, as you're going to this round, you're going to score. Everyone's going to score tomes. And then after this round, this one went 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You're then going to score the gems and art, right? And then you get to the end and you score everything again. And then the multipliers, as I mentioned earlier, and whoever has the most points at the end is the winner. One last thing is, let's say you're given a card that you don't necessarily really want to go up on that track. You can always just take a coin or a point for it, just put it face down and do that. So that gives you some flexibility as well. That's pretty much how you play. Yeah, I had a chance to play a prototype of this at Gen Con with the designers from Horrible Guild. And I really enjoyed this game playing it once, and I was really looking forward to getting the production version. I'm glad I got it. So let me tell you what I first like about it. I love the look and feel of this game. It is beautiful, that sort of Great Gatsby style art. I don't know if you call it Art Deco, but it kind of looks really cool. It's just very clean looking. The graphic design's very clean. It just looks really good on the table. And on top of that, it's got great production. The dual layered boards, tracking your cubes all the way through, those nice little wallets with, again, all the different sort of touches of the graphic design just look really nice. Great production here. This is a unique twist on the I split you choose mechanism. I love the I split you choose. I wish more games would use it. This does it in a way that I've never seen or played with before, but I think it does it in such a great way. I love that you're like constantly tempting the player to your left. You're looking at their board, you're looking at what they're working on, and you're trying to, split it so that you're getting about, you think you know what they're going to do, but you got to make these choices tough for them. But you're trying to see, well, if I give them these 3 cards, they'll probably definitely take that, and then I'll take these cards, which I want. But then you started thinking, well, what if I give 1 less of those cards I think they really want? Will they still take it? If they don't, I'm really getting stuff that I'm not really working on. So it's a really good, interesting way of doing that. But then you're getting one from the player to your right. So you're deciding what to keep from the right player. And you're doing that knowing what you did to the left player, what you sent over there. You're like, I think they're going to take that. That's going to leave me with this, this, and this. This may change the decision of what I'm taking from the player to the right. You take some cards, you get the wallet back, and you're like, oh man, they didn't take the bait. They took the thing I didn't think they were going to take, and now it screwed up my whole turn, kind of. It's really fun to figure out that you're like doing it twice at once. It's just a very clever mechanism, and it's very streamlined. It takes like 1 round to figure out, for new people to figure out, like, wait a second, how does this work? Okay, I get it. And then it unlocks, and it's just, you're off running after that. But it's very clever, the way you're working with both your players to your left to your right. You can play with up to 7 players. You're not super introduced, you don't really worry too much about what the other players are doing, just to the left or your right. I like that in big draft games where, in the end, you try to have more score than everybody, or more prestige, but you're really just deciding what you're doing with the left and the right. I love that when the cards that you end with, so I pass them to the left, I got some from the right, I kept some, I got what was left, and I've got these cards. The cool thing is you keep those cards for the next round. So it's like, okay, I gave this player to my left a sort of a bait. They took the bait that I thought they'd take. I got to keep what I thought I would keep. Now, the player to the right, I get to decide which one I kept there. Now I have this set of cards. A lot of them might be the same ones that I wanted to keep last round, so now I'm tempting that player again, and it's like, here we go again. You might see some of the same cards, you might not, depending on what they took, what the player on the right, what you took from them. It's a really interesting thing where some of the cards will be different, but some of them might be the same. It really just changes things and it goes off. And that really triggers, it goes well with sort of the type of scoring this is, where you're really trying to focus on a couple of things really well because of the multiplier scoring at the end. I like that the randomized scoring track changes every game, like which thing's going to score first versus second. I like that it ramps up with the levels of three different levels of cards. You start with level 1, and then you'll start taking level 2, and then towards the end, take level 3, which give you 2 or 3 resources, basically. It sort of ramps the game up towards the end. I like that you have a starting and end game sort of asymmetry, some starting resources on tracks, but also some end game multipliers, if you will, that you're going to be going with. The game does take only about 45 minutes, but it feels like a bigger game, and not in a bad way. Not like it felt long, but I feel like I've played a full-length sort of 90-minute game, but I only did it in 45 minutes, and I like that. Another thing is, there's not a lot of games that play, drafted games tend to do this, but games that play a lot of players in basically the same time. Because almost everything here is simultaneous, but there's obviously a lot of player interaction. So I like that. Whether you're playing with 3 all the way up to the max 7. I've not played this with 2. There is a little variant with 2. I've not played that yet. But play with 7 players, it moves still the same. The only negative thing is if you're playing this and you happen to be sitting right in between 2 new players, you're probably going to win. Because they won't quite grasp, they won't be as good at messing you up or making really tough decisions for you, or as tough as players I've played before. So your mileage may vary depending on who you're sitting next to. So, but that's pretty much it. There's not a lot of negative I can say about this. If you're looking for a very interesting take on I Split You Choose, this is a fantastic one. Because of all this, it's getting a Saxon Saturday, and it's hanging out and staying in the gaming library. So let's hit it. Game Toppers not only transforms your existing table to a high-quality gaming solution, they now offer full leg kits and dining cover solutions for the full table application. Paired with their amazing, thematic, premium stitch edge mats from noted board game artists like Vincent Dutray, collapsible cup holders, and really cool accessories, it's a complete system that upgrades every game you play. Go to GameToppersLLC.com or click the link below to late pledge for their latest Game Topper 3.5 Kickstarter campaign.